This is Ron Kelleher with the Inspired Leadership Podcast, episode number 540. Today's episode is entitled From Trials to Triumph: Why Joseph's Story is Important for Leaders Today.
Hello, and welcome to Inspired Leadership, the podcast for Christian leaders in the marketplace who want to be the best leaders they can be. And now your host, Ron Kelleher.
The story of Joseph in the book of Genesis offers powerful lessons for leaders today. Lessons that countless leaders have learned throughout history. Leaders face many trials and challenges in our fast-paced and ever-changing world that can test their character and resilience. The story of Joseph in the book of Genesis is a powerful example of how our character is shaped by the trials we face. Through his experiences, Joseph developed several essential traits, including resilience, forgiveness, humility, wisdom, and trust in God. These traits not only helped him overcome the challenges he faced, but also made him a wise and effective leader. So let's explore how Joseph's story provides valuable insights for us as leaders today. Here are 5 character traits that Joseph develops through his trials. First up is resilience. Now, Joseph faces many difficult and traumatic experiences throughout his life, including being sold into slavery and spending years in prison. However, he does not let these experiences break him. Instead, he perseveres through them and continues to work hard and trust in God. Resilience is critical for leaders in today's fast-paced and constantly changing world. Leaders who can adapt to difficult circumstances, endure setbacks, and stay focused on their goals can inspire their teams to do the same. Like Joseph, resilient leaders can remain calm and steady during crises and make decisions that benefit their organizations. Second, forgiveness. Despite the many hardships he faces at the hands of his brothers, Joseph eventually forgives them and works to reconcile them. This shows a deep capacity for forgiveness and a willingness to let go of anger and bitterness. Forgiveness is another essential trait for leaders, particularly those who work in team-oriented environments. Leaders who forgive others and encourage reconciliation can create a more positive and productive work environment. In addition, forgiving leaders can inspire their team members to work together cohesively and focus on shared goals rather than engage in petty disagreements. Third is humility. Joseph is a gifted interpreter of dreams and a capable leader, but he doesn't let his talents go to his head. Instead, he remains humble and recognizes that his abilities are gifts from God. Humility is an essential trait for effective leadership. Humble leaders recognize they don't have all the answers and can learn from others. Also, humble leaders are more approachable, easier to work with, and less likely to decide based on ego or self-interest. Number 4, wisdom. Through his experiences, Joseph gains a great deal of wisdom and becomes a skilled leader and problem solver. He can interpret dreams and use his knowledge to help Pharaoh manage Egypt's affairs during a crisis. Wisdom is an invaluable trait for leaders who must make difficult decisions. Leaders with a broad perspective, a deep understanding of their industry, and the ability to assess risks and opportunities are better equipped to make informed decisions that benefit their organizations. Joseph's example shows that wisdom comes from experience and a willingness to learn from mistakes. And finally, number 5, trust in God. Throughout his trials, Joseph maintains a deep faith in God and trusts that God has a plan for his life. This trust sustains him through many difficult times and helps him to remain hopeful and resilient. For leaders guided by faith, trust in God can provide strength, courage, and inspiration. Leaders with a strong spiritual foundation can stay focused on their values and principles, even when facing difficult decisions or setbacks. Like Joseph, leaders who trust in God can draw on this faith to stay hopeful and resilient amid adversity. Well, in conclusion, the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis provides valuable lessons for leaders in various fields today. Joseph's character was shaped by the trials he endured, and through those trials, he developed traits such as resilience, forgiveness, humility, wisdom, and trust in God. These traits are essential for effective leadership in today's rapidly changing and complex world. By emulating Joseph's examples, leaders can inspire their teams, make better decisions, and build more positive and productive work environments. As we face our trials and challenges, may we strive to develop these same character traits and trust God to guide us through arduous times. Well, that's it for this week, and as always, questions and comments are welcome. How have trials shaped your character as a leader? I'd love it if you'd come over to the website at ronkelleher.com/episode number 540 and leave me a question or a comment. And as always, before we go, I'd like to ask you to do me a quick favor, and that is to hop on over to whatever podcast service you're listening to this on. Leave a ranking for the show and a comment if you wish. Really does help us get the show into the hands of more and more people. So I thank you in advance for that and pray that God would help us all to be the powerful and the inspired leaders he intends us to be. That's it for this episode of Inspired Leadership. You'll find a complete transcript of this episode on my website at www.ronkelleher.com. My prayer now is that you'll go out and be the powerful, inspired leader that God intends us to be.
Thanks for listening to the Inspired Leadership Podcast at www.ronkelleher.com.